Hello you guys, and welcome to my house in Disney Dreamlight Valley. Today I'm going to be touring you through all of my storage rooms. Let's get into it. I have the similar layout as I had before. All of that is the same, however, every room got a makeover. So if you're unfamiliar with how I had my storage previously, I have the same layout with the first floor being everything for Dreamlight Valley. In the center room, I keep all of my food. In the back room, I have my resources, so the things I pick up around the valley like stones, wood. The room to the left holds all of my gems, and the room on the right holds all of my flowers. The second floor of my house is all of my Eternity Isle storage. The center room again holds all of the food. The back room holds all of the resources. The room to the left holds my gems as well as my time bending materials, and the room to the right holds all of my flowers. And then finally, for Storybook Vale, we have a similar setup. The only different thing here is that again, the room to the left is holding gems. However, this time it also includes snippets since that was added in this DLC. So let's go ahead and get started with the first floor of Dreamlight Valley, starting off right here in the kitchen. I believe all of these rooms have now been upgraded to a 12 by 12 size. I believe previously they were all 10 by 10. I found an inspo pic on Pinterest from Tasha in Pixelland that really inspired me to try playing around with a split room. I do have a video showcasing how I took my original layout and transitioned it into this layout for the kitchen with the split room. I wanted all of the rooms in the center to pretty much be the same. So the front half of the room is going to be all my kitchen storage. The back half of these rooms changes for each floor, but the front half is pretty much a copy and paste, and that is just to keep things very easy for myself when designing. So let's get into how everything is actually stored. Again, I have all of the fruits on the left side on these counters, and then I have all of my veggies and grains on the right side. Instead of displaying each food item as you collect it in the valley, I like to cook them into meals and display them on the counter above the chest. A huge reason why I decided to make over this storage room is because I wanted to start using these Sleeping Beauty chests. These are large chests that you can reorder at Scrooge's. They don't cost Dreamlight, and with the uncrafting station, I was able to break down all of the large chests I had in my house before and get back all of that Dreamlight. Over here with all of the fruits, in this one we have things like the apples, raspberries, cherries, and gooseberries. In the second chest, I have the yellow fruit, so I have bananas and lemons. Next to that, I have my coconut, cocoa beans, coffee, all kind of like brown things. The peanuts are in there. And then finally, I have a chest holding my blueberries and my Dreamlight fruit. Now you can see some of these chests are not full. I like to have room to grow. Over here, I have a chest that is tucked under this sink, and I love how that looks. It's so handy with this little ratatouille sink. And this is where I keep all of the seafood from my valley. I do also keep some chests around my valley outside of my house. I do have a chest outside of Moana's boat where I can easily drop fish there as I'm fishing outside in the valley. If I don't want to run home, I can quickly drop them in there. I also have chests next to all of my Goofy stalls in every single biome where I can drop things I collect in each biome. They're all kind of sorted that way. And of course, I have home chests all throughout my valley too, so I can easily drop things in there and then sort them once I get home. Continuing over here, I used this chest here instead of the refrigerator. I thought that this was much cuter than the refrigerator and also worked really well with this cottage kind of aesthetic. So next to it, I have a basket of eggs. Don't tell Gaston, I'm trying to keep him out of my house and away from my food. But in here is basically where I keep my dairy items, my refrigerated items, if you will. So my cheese, butter, eggs, and the snow cones or slush ice, I guess they technically are. I feel like I don't ever really use that ingredient, but there it is. Now over here, I have a continuation of all of the veggies. So the first chest here is holding the red and orange veggies. Next to that, I have a chest holding all of the yellow things. So potatoes, canola, wheat, sugarcane, that all kind of gets dumped in here. The The third chest of veggies is holding a bunch of my green veggies. Finally, I have a chest here holding eggplants as well as mushrooms. And that completes our little rainbow of fruit and vegetables. Over here next to my little cooking area, I have a spice rack. And below that, I have a chest which is holding all of the herbs and spices as well as Mulan's tea. And then finally for our kitchen, I of course have this gorgeous cooking stove. And then tucked away next to it, you may notice there is a chest here as well. And in this, I am holding just a bunch of excess food and snacks and things that I can easily pick up and drop in my valley as I am running around and using a bunch of energy. That is the storage for this front. The back half of the room is really just for aesthetic. This is kind of like a cute little like living room, sitting room area. We have the tea cart, little laundry basket just to make it feel lived in. I have a little TV here playing Tangled, and then I did add in a home chest. So now that you've seen this first main room, let's take a venture on over to the right, and this room is my flower storage for Dreamlight Valley. I filled it up with all of these butterflies. I did add in this gorgeous bed in the middle to kind of act like a bedroom, and then I have flowers circling around the bed and going around the room. So in this corner here, I have a chest for all of my red flowers, my orange flowers. Continuing on this way, we have the yellow flowers, followed by the green. Circling on over into this corner, we continue on with blue, purple, and then it picks back up in the corner over here with the pink, and then this final chest is holding the white flowers, black flowers, and the multicolored flowers. I also have a chest in the center of the room holding all of the enchanted roses. The chest on the left is holding all of my soil, and the chest on the right here is holding all of my rich soil. I forgot to mention that each room within like the 3 wings connecting off the main room are all themed after the fairies in Sleeping Beauty. I wanted to make a different color room for each of those 3 rooms since there are 3 fairies. All of the flower rooms are in a pink color palette. The resource rooms are all in a blue color palette for Merryweather. And then the room that holds all the gems has a green color palette for fauna. So each of the fairies has their own kind of room dedicated to them. Heading into the back room here, this is my main valley resource storage room. I wanted this to be pretty functional, so I added in a little partition here and made this into a little crafting area. This room is all blue for Merryweather, and I tried something pretty different in this room that I haven't done before, and that is to not use tables to display what is in the chests. So instead, I went with something a little bit different where I have these kind of trees, and then circling around them, I have 4 chests. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this exactly how it is, just because with having these little resources on the ground, if I come in the house with certain companions, they may want to pick these little dropped items off the floor. So that's something to keep in mind. It hasn't really been an issue for me so far, but it is possible with that new feature. So I did just want to mention that, but I do have chests going around the little bases of these trees to indicate what resources are in them. And then we continue along and they are over here as well. I also wanted to include some of this like icy furniture I had. So we have the little piano here. In this chest here, I displayed a little snowball because in this chest, it's holding all the snowballs. I thought that went along with the rest of the room theme. So behind the crafting station, we have a little fireplace area, and I just kind of made this into a little lounge area where you might want to chill and listen to the music, watch the fireplace. We have more chests circling around this tree, and this is all containing my wood. So they go from lightest to darkest, circling around the base of the tree. So we have the dry wood, softwood, hardwood, and then finally in this corner here, this chest is holding all of the dark wood. The chests on this this side of the room are holding some kind of random things. So I have old event items tucked away in this one. Over here, this is holding, oh my goodness, so many random things. Potions, training manuals, really random quest items that I have no idea if they're ever gonna come back into play. We also have a chest here that is holding all of my marshmallows and s'mores, very important past event items. And then finally in the corner, this chest is holding all of my clothing pouches. I've unlocked all of the clothing in the game, so I'm just kind of hoarding these pouches. I don't really know what, if anything, I could do with them, but I am hiding them away in this house for now. So let's go ahead and look at the third room. This room off to the side is all my gems. I thought of this room as kind of like a rec room when I was designing it. This is like a room that you would like to hang out in here with like friends and family, play board games, listen to music. I really was trying to make all of these rooms very practical for my storage, but also keep them aesthetic and kind of make them feel like home. This room is holding all of my gems circling around on the walls, and I will give you a closer look at how I did this in just a moment. So starting over here, we have all the gems going from red all the way through black, and I also have my night shards and dream shards displayed up here. I use these little like wall panels that we have with shelves. You can't actually put anything on the shelves. You can actually put these little shelves that you build at a crafting station. You can kind of like merge them in, and then you can put items on them. It's a sneaky little trick. I could not stop doing it once I figured that out, and I really like how the gems look around the room. I also like how you maybe don't immediately think this is a storage room. How I had it before was like very much this is a gem storage room. There are chests that look like vaults in here, but now I feel like the storage is really working with the rest of the space. So I really like how this room turned out. That is our little gem storage. Here we are on my Eternity Isle floor. I know that it's my Eternity Isle floor if I forget, because there are little touches for Rapunzel since she came in this DLC. So I have the little golden flower cloche sitting right on that table. I can also see the easel as well as the little Pascal lantern and a few other Rapunzel touches you may notice in that back section of the room. I have the same layout for the kitchen in this room as we did downstairs. So all of my Eternity Isle seafood is tucked away under the sink. I have all of my like dairy and meats, I guess. I just put all the meat in the refrigerator for this floor from Gaston's stall. And then I have my chest going across the rest of the room holding all of my fruits and vegetables in rainbow order again. So we have the strawberries, cacto berries. In this chest, I have things like the dates and almonds. This third chest is holding my melons, nestling pears, as well as pineapples. And then finally, we have the dream mangoes and the cosmic figs. On the other side where the veggies pick up, I have, what are these? Ruby lentils and beans, very random. This is an empty chest I have just in case I need some more space. It kind of just worked out. This chest is holding my green veggies, so cabbage, things like broccoli. And then we have the purple chest on the end here that holds things like the flute root, turnips, as well as the yams. Again, I have all of my Eternity Isle spices under my little spice rack here in this chest. And then again, we have the cooking station as well as some Eternity Isle cooked meals here as well. Moving into the back section of this house, this is actually the room that I recorded myself building. So if you want to see a speed build of this, that is up on my channel. But I wanted this room to have nods to Rapunzel and also be like a little bit of an office setup. So I put in a little gaming kind of area for myself, a little teacup there on my desk. I used these ancient vinyls on display over here. And then in the corner over here, I have my easel as well as a little storage chest here. So this is my Eternity Isle flower room. I have a different layout for this flower room than I did the last because that's kind of how all of the storage rooms are aside from the kitchen area. But again, I have the flowers sorted actually by types in this room, just because there's not too many flowers in Eternity Isle, especially when comparing it to the Valley. So I just have each of the flowers displayed in rainbow order going around the room on these tables. And then I have a chest in front of each one of them. Just so many tangled things in this house. I just love the pink and purple colors and all of her stuff. So I have some pictures on display of Rapunzel and Flynn and Pascal up in here too. The center room on the Eternity Isle floor holds all of the resources as well as my time bending items. Well, some of them. So I wanted to make like a cute little tea area because I was kind of playing off the idea of like tea time bending with the Eternity Isle. So we have a little bit of a tea party situation when you walk in. And then again, I have a similar layout where I have these little trees and all of the resources displayed in the chests around them. Now, I didn't drop these on the ground because they're bones in this chest. This one holds the tropical wood, and I think this back one might be empty currently. Yes. I just didn't want to have bones and sticks lying on the floor in here. And then over here, I have things like the Oasis glass, some other gems, plastic scraps circling around that tree. Over here, I have things like electric parts, the little ingots. And then over here, I have the little like ores you can collect. And these are going around from lightest to darkest as well. So I have like the zinc, the quartz. And then in the fourth chest over here, I have all of the little tin pieces. Behind the little fireplace here is where I hid my time bending tables. Let's head on into the gems and time bending room on this floor. It might be one of my favorite rooms. So I decided to make this room into a bathroom, which is kind of weird, but you need a bathroom in your house, right? So again, we have a green theme and I have some floating bubbles on display here. And these floating bubbles are displaying things corresponding to what's in the chest. So in the center one, I have a piece of glimmer because in the chest, it has all of my time bending parts as well as my glimmer. In the chest to the right, I have some more time bending pieces. These are all the things that would make a great gift for a friend. At least that's what they just say in the description. And then in the chest over here to the left, I have all the fragments. So these are the items that you can collect that actually can be made into other items. Those are all of my little bubbles holding all of my time bending pieces. On the right here, I have a little bathtub with a floating bubble above it again. And then I had fun making these kind of like little bathroom alcoves. So I used a bunch of the Sleeping Beauty columns as well as these Cinderella bookshelves. Honestly, throughout my whole house, they were very handy for making these little builds, like this little shower here, which I wish you could interact with and actually see some water fall down, but we can't. And then across from that on the other side, we have a little bit of a toilet area and a sink. I also used a bunch of Eternity Isle decor in this bathroom, which is not stuff that I typically get to use. Going against this back wall, I have the sink and vanity area. There are 6 types of gems in Eternity Isle that are different from those in the Valley. So I have a chest in front of each cabinet piece and then a different gem displayed on the counter behind that. And in each chest, it's holding all of the shiny and the non-shiny original versions. And apparently I don't have that many gems because I'm constantly using these to make paths and things. So that is why we are looking so low on supplies in here. But I love this room. I had a lot of fun making something different, trying to make a bathroom. So here we are on the 3rd floor. This is the Storybook Vale dedicated floor. This is everything to do with Aurora. So I wanted to make it really easy for myself to know again, what floor am I on? Just in case if I'm running around dropping things. This front table set up with the box of croissants, because if you've done your Storybook Vale quest, you may have run into these boxes of croissants. I quickly became obsessed with them and thought that they needed to be in my kitchen, of course. We also have some gorgeous sparkling ambrosia scattered on the table and the Princess Aurora cupcakes there. And I kind of went with the idea of like, we're getting ready to go to a party. We're getting ready for Aurora's birthday party in here when I was designing, and you'll see that with some more touches on the other side of this kitchen. But again, let me walk you through everything I have in storage here. This is all of my dairy-like items. So I have things like olives, yogurt, chia seeds, the shovelbird eggs are all tucked away in here, as well as the feta. I have, again, all of my seafood in the chest under this sink here. And then we get into the fruits again. So I have the strawberries, the rhubarb, all of the kind of red fruits, and then we move into the orange. So I have the persimmon and the Cape gooseberries in the next chest. Following that, I have yellow things. So we have the golden apples as well as honeydew melons. And then lastly, on the fruit side here, I have grains. So we have the Alasian grains, the fairy rye, barley, as well as oats. So picking up on the veggie side, we have things like the radishes, as well as, what is this? Radicchio. Oh, how could I forget about radicchio? Next to that, the porcini mushrooms and the ring squash. Next to that, I have all the green things. We have Brussels sprouts and so many green beans. Y'all need any green beans? Come on over, grab a few. The last chest is holding all of my cauliflower. I have so much cauliflower that I grew. Again, on my little spice rack here, I have the chest holding all of the Storybook Vale spices. So lightning spice, cinnamon, nutmeg, the salt crystals are all in here. My trumpet snails and black pepper all goes in that chest. And then of course we have another chest here with a bunch of really random Storybook Vale cooked meals. And I also have some extra green beans and Brussels sprouts, just because clearly I have too many green beans. So the back half of this floor is a little bit of like a getting ready vanity kind of area. So I have the little Cinderella vanity here with the blow dryer on the table. In the corner here, I have a lounger with a little sparkling ambrosia on the table there. We have some little salon products on the wall. And then I wanted to kind of play off the idea of like, we're celebrating or getting ready to go celebrate Aurora's birthday. So I have a little gift box on the ground here. And then in this corner, I have a little crafting station. And I wanted to make it look like I'm making a little snippet, like I'm practicing some origami skills over here on my little craft table. So we have the little bird snippet on the desk there. I, of course, have a home chest. And then on the mannequin here, I displayed the dress that I made with Touch of Magic for my Princess Aurora cosplay, where I tried to kind of recreate Aurora's dress. Honestly, it looks a little weird on the mannequin there. It looks better on my character. Don't look too closely at it. This floor makes the most sense for having all the rooms themed after the different fairies, because it is all inspired by Sleeping Beauty. So this is my flower storage room for Storybook Vale, and I have a similar setup as before with all of the flowers circling around the room. Each flower has its own chest, and I have them again sorted by color. So here is my little flower storage room for Storybook Vale. In the back, I have a little bit of a tea area. I just can't have enough little tea parties in my house, so that is another one there. Okay, this back room I had a lot of fun designing. I think you'll see why when we step inside. This room, I kind of wanted to make a little nursery for little Princess Aurora. So we're going back to like her baby self in this room. I really wanted to include the little bassinet in the center of the room. I just thought it was so sweet to make a sweet little nursery with all of the the pink and blue. And we have a little bit of a sitting area here. I imagine this is where you would like rock baby and read a story. We've got little Doug as a plushie on the ground here. I added in my crafting station in the corner here and a tissue box on the pedestal. And I am imagining that this is kind of like a changing table in the nursery. So we have that, and then a little bit of like a play corner with a bunch of stuff on display here. Now, again, I want this room to look aesthetically pleasing and kind of look like a little nursery, but it's also really storage in the back. So this is holding all of my resources, and circling around the table, I have all of my resources. So I have the club rush, the little like fairy moss, the bubbles, and then it circles around to this side, and I can walk around the whole thing and access every chest. And then coming on over to this side, I have things like, I want to call this muck every time I see it, like that Pokemon, I think. But this is all of my petrified wood. Actually, it looks like I accidentally swapped these chests as I was designing. So let's just quickly flip those, because I did not check them once I was rearranging everything, and I probably moved things around so many times. So let's just put that back. I think that's actually mud. I think it's mud. It just reminds me of that one Pokemon. You'll know what I'm talking about. We've got the pine cones, and then now we have the petrified wood where it should be. And then it circles on over to the other side with the sea monster teeth, just what you want in every baby nursery. So yeah, that is all of the hard resources for Storybook Vale tucked away in this cute little nursery and playroom build. I keep feeling like I'm saying this is my favorite room, but this is again one of my favorite rooms, and I think that's just a testament to how much fun I had designing these storage rooms and giving the home layout a fresh new look. This one was a lot of fun. Again, I decided to do a bathroom, and I have all of the Storybook Vale gems as well as the snippets on display throughout this room. So let's start over here. In this corner, I have a fountain and then some floating bubbles holding all of the demon snippets, and there is a chest here that is holding all of the demon snippets in it. In this corner here, I have a little vanity area. I have the magma rock on display on a little pedestal here, kind of like those hot lava stone rocks, and then I have the little storage chest next to that. I used this octopus table in the center of the room and added around these little vanity stools, the little like birch toiletry box, and then there's also two gems on this table that I thought kind of just looked like things you would have in a bathroom. So we have the opal as well as the little stars on the other side, and then there are the chests next to them as well. So here we have the opal in this chest right in front of it. This back corner has a bunch of the bird snippets flying around this little lounger, and of course the chest here has all of the bird snippets. And then next to this gorgeous Little Mermaid bathtub, I have all of my frog snippets displayed on these little floating bubbles, and then there's one sitting next to the bath like he's about to dive right in. And the chest here is holding all of the frog snippets, of course. And then on the other side of the bathtub, I displayed the pure ice. I thought it kind of looked like some kind of fancy soap, so I put that next to the bathtub, and then all of the pure ice and shiny ice are tucked away in there. So this was another really fun storage room. So that completes the tour of all of my storage rooms. I haven't decided if I'm going to be getting Wish Blossom Ranch yet, but if I do, my fourth floor will be the next DLC floor we designed for in this similar setup. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing how I have all of my storage in-game, as well as my thought process for how I have things laid out. This transformation was a lot of work, but I found it really rewarding, and I really enjoy the fact that the rooms feel more homey and less like you walk in and there's a bunch of tables and chests, which again, no problem with that. I had my Valley like that for a long time, but I'm really loving having storage rooms like this instead. So let me know what you guys thought of this. Be sure to share all of your storage tips in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!